Hello and welcome to Winter Disco Tabletop Gaming. In this video we are diving deep down into the gritty, grim underhive of Necromunda and looking at some expansions for the Escher Gang and the Ogryn Slave Gang. I'm really excited. I'm a big fan of Necromunda in general. I've never played, although in the 90s when the original Necromunda was out, I was very much into it. It's very good. But this new edition, I haven't really got into it much. Mostly it came out when I didn't have much money. Now I've got a little bit of money. I might start doing some stuff. But in this video, we're looking at the two new things that are coming out for pre-order on this weekend. So firstly, we have the new, expansion book, which is, what's it called? House of Blades, which focuses on the Escher Gang. We've already had the House of something. I can't remember what it was. The one for the other gang. Oh my god, my mind is completely blank. Goliath Gang. That's who it was. Whatever that book was, I can't remember the name of it. I've had a read through and I find it fascinating, to be honest. I love how Games Workshop are now able to expand upon what was sort of established in the 90s. And really, we didn't have that much info. We really didn't know much about the gangs and how the gangs are organized from like a larger scale. You had like the single individual gangs of each house, but not really. We didn't know like where they came from, what the structure is, like the fact that there would be some ruling organization overall for that particular gang and that particular house. So I'm really excited for this, and I think Escher for me are one of the more interesting ones, particularly in this new version of Necromunda. They've sort of gone ahead and expanded on this. So in this book, you're going to get a whole bunch of extra rules. So you get the house history, rules for fielding an Escher Gang, and some new characters as well. Then you get some extra rules for hired guns, hanger-ongs, brutes for every gang, and some with some Escher specific ones. I know on Facebook they have been showing off a few different ones and they look very interesting. I'm hoping that models do get released for them, because I feel like with the Escher Gang, you can introduce some more organic elements that you can't really do for the other gangs and houses. So particularly, they always go with the feathers as well. But what we'll see in a minute with the Wild Runners, you get, pelts of reptilian nature, which is very interesting. So it's very keen. So it comes out on book and also in PDF, of course. So the new models. That's really what we're here for. So, two Death Maidens, which when I first saw these models, I'm like, I don't quite get it. But that comes from, like I was saying before, we didn't have any real info on the gangs themselves. And now they can expand upon that and really delve into and investigate what the gang is and the whole thing. And it makes sense for there to be these kind of characters which they're being raised from the dead, which makes no sense, but for Escher it does. They deal a lot in toxins and poisons and chemicals and DNA splicing and things like that. So it makes sense that, at some point they're going to be able to raise people from the dead, whether that is literally raise them from the dead or people that are basically on death's door and they're able to bring them back through like DNA splicing and merging and mixing and chemicals and poisons and elixirs and all those kind of things. So it's an interesting concept. The models look kind of cool. I'm a bit undecided. I like them, but also I'm like, I think they could do some really cool things. Probably some more flowing, spectral type of cloth and torn up fabrics and things. I think it'd be really cool. You could probably kit bash some things from the Nighthawk range from Age of Sigmar. The other models we have are called the Wild Runners and Prospects. So my understanding is the Wild Runners have the wild bows, which basically shoot arrows, but they can have poisons and little explosives in them. And then the Prospects are the ones in that image which have the whips. That's my understanding. And it goes along the similar line with the recent Goliath releases, and I, for the life of me, cannot remember the name of the models. But again, it's expanding upon what we already know about these gangs, and I really love that idea. So we get this idea that these are hunters and they really are about the strange animals that they can get, and we'll go into the strange animals in a second. But I love that whole idea. So that really works with the Escher gang. And then we have the 4 Felinks, which are kind of a strange mix. They're, as far as my understanding, based on what I have briefly read and heard about them, they're completely made up from a mishmash of DNA from various different creatures. And I love that. And that definitely ties in with the Escher and goes back to the Death Maidens and their whole idea of like poisons and elixirs and tonics and things like that. So that's really cool. So I'm really excited for this. I'm keen to get my hand on the books and some of these models. I don't actually even own any Necromunda models. I probably should pick up some Escher models because I think they are one of my favorite gangs compared to Orlocks. And I think Orlocks will come up next. And I have another video coming up in the next day or two about when and what is going to get announced at this preview event on the weekend. And I think that this equivalent of the Orlok gang is going to get released. But that's not all that we have. We have the big boys. We have the Ogrins, or the Ogrins. Oh, it was Ogrins because that's short for ogre, basically. You can put them in a gang. I love it. I love that idea. It's going to be a small number. You're not going to have like 15 gang members. It's going to be fairly small because they're pretty tough and they can pack a punch. And I love these models, particularly this boy down here with the giant gloves, the metal foot, all kinds of contraptions on him. I love the idea that you can run these as a gang, and also you can run them as... Oh, I'm just looking at my notes here. Jotun H-grade Servitor Ogryn box. So you can get 2 in a box and use them as like offsiders or brutes for your gangs, which is really cool. I'm going to pick up just one of those boxes and just build them because I really like the models. Not really much more to say about them because I don't know that much. I just really love the idea that I love the fact that we're expanding upon what was established back in the 90s of like the 6, 7, 8 war bands. Not war bands, that's a different game. 6, 7, 8 different gangs. And now we're really able to step outside of that and expand upon it, which is really cool. Finally, we have some new cards. So you get from each pack for the Escher and the Slave Ogryn packs, you get 12 specific cards. I think, let me just double check the notes here. No, that's the wrong one. I'm thinking about the Open Hive and the Zone Mortalis. So for the Escher and the Slave Ogryn ones, you get 18 specific tactic cards and 8 blank fighter cards. So if you have Escher, you definitely want to pick that up. Or if you're starting a Slave Ogryn gang, you'll want to pick up those cards because you get a bunch of cards in there that will help. Then we also have the Open Hive War and Zone Mortalis. So these come up with a whole bunch of strategic options. So you get 12 gang-specific cards and another 12 used by any gang. Doesn't say how many cards are in each pack. I've got this screen on the same thing as well, but I'm just going to double check. Okay, so it's 1 for each gang. So 1 for Cawdor, Goliath, Escher, blah, 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 blah. So 1 for each. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. You get 12 general and then 1. So 13, basically, what you can use for your gang. Just adds more tactics and strategies and events to the game. So there you go. That's all I want to talk about. I know there's other releases here like Middle-earth and Aeronautica and also Snotlings. Kind of cute. I'm not going to talk about them. It's just ridiculous. But let me know what you think. Tell me in the comments below whether you are Team Escher or Team Ogryn. I am definitely Team Escher. Although, you know, I wouldn't mind picking up that 2-pack of Ogryns. I think this would be really cool to build. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you do enjoy these videos, definitely subscribe because I'll be doing a lot more coverage of news and releases of Games Workshop and other companies each week. Probably like every day or 2. We'll get a video coming out. Yeah, definitely like the video and comment. And thank you for watching.